In Armenia and Azerbaijan, frantic families look for information on the Nagorno-Karabakh war dead. Nagorno-Karabakh, Sarven Vaniskhian has been making do with awful espresso, little rest and numerous cigarettes as he sits tight for information on his child, an Armenian volunteer officer who disappeared during the Nagorno-Karabakh war. He and different dads, who have made a trip from across Armenia to the principal city of the Nagorno-Karabakh territory, presently hold a strained vigil in the eatery of Stepanakert's Armenia hotel in order to pick up any piece of information or gossip about whether their children are alive. Many hold out expectation that their children might be secluded from everything or lying injured in steep, precipitous landscapes since a Russian-handled truce was given a month ago to end the most exceedingly awful battling up the territory since the 1990s. Be that as it may, the realized loss figures are not empowering. In excess of 1,746 Armenian and Karabakh warriors have been affirmed slaughtered, as per authorities in Nagorno-Karabakh, an Armenian-drove territory inside Azerbaijan's global outskirts. Azerbaijan reported Thursday that at any rate 2,783 of its troopers kicked the bucket. Armenia's health ministry has so far directed criminological investigation on in any event 2,718 war zone dead from the two sides, specialists said Wednesday. Zara Amatuni, a representative for the International Committee of the Red Cross in Armenia, said endeavors to recuperate the missing have been hampered by winter climate and unexploded weapons. A salvage laborer from Armenia's Ministry of Emergency Situations said specialists didn't have the foggiest idea the number of bodies were still unrecovered. The specialist, who has been looking in a precarious canyon close to the city of Shusha, referred to in Armenia as Shushi, talked on the state of obscurity since he was not approved to converse with media. "We don't have a clue where to look for them in the chasm," he said. "There is a ton of backwoods, so we are simply looking all over." Thus the dads stand by in a gauzy cloudiness of tobacco smoke at the inn, a milestone site in the city and one of only a handful few places that stayed open in Stepanakert in the midst of stresses over the future under the Harmony bargain. Nagorno-Karabakh truce gets fights Armenia, delight in Azerbaijan. They exchange stories and hypotheses. Web joins aren't working. Negation updates travel just as quick as the dads can pursue them down. At the point when they know about more bodies recuperated, they stroll to the funeral home to take a gander at photographs and, with hearts dashing, trust that their children are not among them. Different occasions, they go over the square to the Nagorno-Karabakh government workplaces to compel authorities to accomplish something, in spite of the fact that it's not satisfactory what they can do. A prior battle among Azerbaijan and Armenia during the 1990s saw Azerbaijan lose control of the area and 7 regions around it. In the new war that broke out September 27, Azerbaijan adequately vanquished Armenia, recovering the 7 locale and a lump of the territory under a ceasefire marked November 9. Russian peacekeepers currently watch the district. The last time Vaniskhian saw his child, Va, 29, was on September 28. Va, a development laborer in Russia, was home visiting his folks in their town, Shirak, in northwestern Armenia, and raced to join the battle. His folks were glad. The dad, Vaniskhian, 58, likewise a development specialist, battled during the 1990s war. He has had no contact with Va since. Vaniskhian got infrequent word from his child's associates that Va was fine. However, the last news was November 6. "I call my significant other frequently. She lets me know, don't return home without my son," said Vaniskhian, his face lined and whiskered. The tables in the cafe are heaped with utilized espresso cups, flooding ashtrays, hunks of flatbread, moment noodle parcels, plastic forks and plastic jugs of custom-made vodka or cognac. A man cried after discovering that his child had been executed. In Azerbaijan, groups of the missing face mystery from specialists and clashing records. Khadija Ismailova, a notable insightful columnist who was imprisoned by experts in 2014 subsequent to giving an account of debasement, needed to look for her missing nephew in a mortuary in Yevlak, around 150 miles west of Baku, Azerbaijan's capital. The remaining parts of numerous troopers there were singed to the point of being unrecognizable. "It's a staggering cycle that we've experienced," she said. "No one needs to accept," she said, alluding to individuals' apprehensions that their friends and family were slaughtered. The families are as yet looking. The greater part of them need to experience the torment of searching for their kin among bodies, she said. However, the vast majority of these inquiry endeavors are futile. Fundamentally, it's going on in light of the fact that we would prefer not to accept. Her sibling's child, Ravshan Ismailov, 21, was drafted in the wake of graduating in June from the Azerbaijan University of Cooperation in Baku, where he considered a count. Subsequent to battling broke out September 27, he was shipped off the front where the absolute hardest battling happened. His last call home was October 12. It was not until before the end of last month that official affirmation came and Ismailov's body was returned and covered in the Alley of Martyrs in his neighborhood. Ismailova said the family was told he kicked the bucket with a gathering progressing in front of the principal assortment of Azerbaijani fighters. He needed to be a legend, and he passed on a saint, she said. Ismailova said that there was little government data on war setbacks, yet that family members and common society bunches had set up WhatsApp channels with data on where to give DNA to help distinguish the losses. In Stepanakert, the outings from the cafe to the mortuary can't in any event bring lucidity. A few fighters' bodies are unrecognizable. Recently, they disclosed to us they had brought 20 bodies, so we went to the mortuary to check whether we could distinguish them, said a man who talked secretly in light of the fact that he was delicate about examining anguish. We are staying there being tormented, and when they get down on the names, you are trusting your child's name isn't on the rundown. Vaniskhian doesn't go to the funeral home. He keeps a good ways from different men, keeping in mind their agony, he said. The contrast among them and me is that I realize my child is alive, he stated, in spite of the fact that he has had no such affirmation. It's a lot harder for them. I realize he is returning, he demanded, grinning. I will welcome him with deference and pride that I have such a legend child who battled for his homeland. Another man's face flushed dark red with enthusiastic and actual pressure so extreme that volunteers hurried him to the military clinic. He didn't need his child to go to the military and had attempted to offer an incentive so he could keep away from Armenian military assistance. Yet, his child was resolved. I couldn't care less if my child returns without any appendages. I simply need him back, he stated, declining to be named. Presently we have lost the war, we can't cover him as a saint. A couple of days after the fact, word got through that his child had been killed.